Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of The Podcast Strikes Back. My name is George and you're listening to our review of Deadpool. The boys Connor. Benny.
Hi there.
Wow, that caught you at a bad time, man.
Yeah,
you
it's
gotta
mid-yawn/stretch.
You got to do that before we hit
You're
play.
so pumped up before we start.
Yeah.
Like, let's go. So guys, Deadpool 2 is coming out next week, and we thought it was a pretty appropriate time to go back to 2016, jump in our DeLorean.
That makes sense why we're doing Deadpool.
Can you
now.
believe it?
I get it.
Yeah.
He's
Can you
on
believe it?
board.
Yeah.
So, Connor, could you tell us a little bit about the plot of DP?
Ooh.
DP1.
Yeah, so it follows Wade Wilson, who is a former special operative, special forces guy. He basically gets heaps fucked up and becomes Deadpool.
Nice.
It's an R-rated good time.
There is
film.
not much more to this. The plot
Yeah,
is
really,
there.
no. Like when you boil it down, there's not much to it. It's
That's about it.
It's told very non-linearly, but
non-linear.
It's a very
It's
simple
fourth
story.
wall breaking. I think almost more interesting is the story behind how it got made. Really, like that's where the plot is.
Yeah.
This
It's
has
a
been
very interesting progression for how this whole project came together.
This has been something that Ryan Reynolds has wanted to do for at the time I think almost 10 years.
Yeah.
He got the chance to kind of play Deadpool in the first Wolverine film, where he played a kind of parody of
X-Men
Wolverine.
Origins.
Yeah, that one. Oof.
But evidently that all started in 2004, which is even crazier.
Yeah.
It's like this has been a long time.
So maybe
He's-
more than 10 years. Sorry, yeah.
if
I guess
15,
since the
like,
90s.
he's been very passionate about this
Yeah.
franchise.
And he kind of
IP.
got shoehorned into that. He didn't want to do Deadpool that way, but they kind of ruined that for him. And he's been going after this solo movie ever since. And they made some test footage, which interestingly got put on a shelf at Fox for ages. And then, as he puts it, mysteriously got leaked.
the Deadpool tactic.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and he said that Fox went and approved the film the next day.
Wow.
Like I didn't know that, but like literally, like the day after someone leaked the test footage, they're like, "Yeah, you
That's
got a
very
green light."
interesting. Yeah, we've spoken about this a number of times. How the Deadpool marketing team leak quite a lot of stuff,
Yeah,
but it's a very
I
when done
genuinely
well.
that first one was a genuine leak.
When done well, it's a very powerful promotional strategy.
Yeah, hugely.
So, guys, I was
gonna say, like going into it, what did you guys think?
Yeah.
like
I remember being very excited about Deadpool #1. It came out in February of 2016. So it was like, wow, summer's starting early. We're getting Deadpool in February. This is killer. So that was really cool.
my thinking was more Feb's generally the dumping ground for garbage.
It is. But I had such faith in this, and the marketing leading up to this film was so fantastic. I was ready for Deadpool, man. And I remember I saw this twice in the cinema. I absolutely loved it. I had a great time. And upon revisiting it, I forgot how much of an emotional core this film has. His relationship with Vanessa in this, like that is something I completely forgot about. You know, there's the fourth wall breaking, there's the comedy, there's the violence, you know, there's all of that, but there's a really touching personal component to this film, which I think really brings it over the line and something I really, really enjoyed about this viewing of it.
Yeah, I remember being very cautiously optimistic about this movie because, as you said, the marketing was also great. The trailers look cool. But Deadpool as a character is so hit and miss for me. He can be really grating and just a really, like, you know, a 14-year-old boy's idea of comic gold. And sitting down and finally watching the movie, I loved it the first time I saw it. I thought they really nailed it, and that was completely borne out by the performance at the box office. This movie was a phenomenon at the time. Broke a whole bunch of records for the month of Feb, which...
and for R-rated films.
Yeah. Which, you know, neither was the highest records in the world, but it was really cool. They really committed to making this the Deadpool movie it needed to be. Everyone working on it creatively, which can be hard in the world of making Fox movies. Clearly had what they needed and took the time and as you said, like hard R-rated, which is really surprising. That's what really struck me upon watching this again, actually, was how R-rated this movie is. I think I'd forgotten.
So coming into it was before Logan, right?
Yeah.
Years before you.
A whole year before.
A year.
Not years. 1.2 years.
Yeah. So this is really our first proper R-rated superhero film. I think was Blade R-rated at all?
Yeah, it was in the MA. I'm pretty sure Blade 1 was.
Yeah.
What about you, man? What were you kind of expecting in 2016? And
I came into it really intrigued because it was, R-rated film, R-rated superhero film. I know like a lot of people, as I just did, point out Blade, but Blade didn't really feel like a superhero film. I was interested to see that aspect of it. I liked the fourth wall break aspect. I wanted to see how they were going to kind of put that into it. I remember watching the test footage kind of around when it leaked and getting really excited for that, just because I loved the action sequence. I loved the kind of comedy that seemed to be integral to the character. So when I finally saw it, I was really impressed. I think I was a bit weirded out the first time I watched it by the non-linear aspect of it. The fact that scene seemed to span half the movie.
Yeah, which it basically does.
Yeah, there's that scene which is like 60% of the film, including the flashbacks in it, and then there's like the final act. So if you take away the origin stuff, it's just this one action scene.
Yeah.
And then the finale.
It's a very interesting way to do that.
Feels like budget stuff. I feel like the budget shows a lot on this movie, but not in a bad way. I feel like you can just kind of tell, but they work it so cleverly.
I feel like this viewing, it felt like this movie felt more innocent and low budget for whatever reason. Like I don't know. I feel like with the marketing and the slickness of what Deadpool 2 we've seen in the trailers, like this one seems like, they're just kind of getting it going. There are some CG work that isn't the greatest. It has that lower budget, smaller comic book film vibe.
It feels smaller, definitely.
Why is that funny?
I don't know, just the way you said that.
Like
I'm sorry,
this.
like it was just like smaller. It's like you're talking to a small child. Smaller. What are you doing? Learning.
What's that from?
Apocalypse. Yeah.
Ugh.
Learning. Yeah, man. I really enjoyed this film. Like I said, I was a bit thrown by the kind of non-linear aspect, but I thought it was an interesting way to approach it. Really, for me, the characters were what sold this. Some cool CG and some cool action scenes, but yeah, I think Ryan Reynolds was probably born to play this role. I think that's what a lot of people say. He really owns it. You can tell that in the marketing. Like, he must be just itching to get back in that suit every time because he seems to be doing it every day.
Yeah, he's born for the role, as you said.
Yeah, and he's good in it. Like, I think, hats off to him.
He really is not as good. He's great as Deadpool. I think so few people couldn't really do what he's doing in this role and have it not be the most annoying thing in the world.
Yeah.
Just with all the meta stuff and the lame jokes. He sells it in this way because he's almost self-deprecating. Like Deadpool.
Oh, he is.
Is a loser while also being kind of cool and funny. And he just balances it very well.
Yeah. And they didn't shy away from that self-effacing, like when he goes and talks about himself in the third person, or when he talks about Ryan Reynolds
especially, yeah.
In his superior acting skill, and I really love that.
Yeah, I love the way this movie kicks off with that credit scene. Like that is just locks you into the feature, and it's like, okay, we're just gonna take the piss on everything and anything.
Yeah, it gets you right into the tone of it.
And I've never seen anyone do that with a credit sequence before. And it seems so obvious. It seems like, why hasn't anyone done this before? But they did it so perfectly. You get the little bit where you see Green Lantern on the front of the magazine.
Well, no other movie can be that blatantly fourth wall breaking. Like what other character, at least in a superhero film, has that ability?
Any film, though. Not like talking about a comedy, just I've never seen that before. I thought it was very inventive and fun, and as I said, really just got a taste of where this is heading.
Yeah. Again, don't want to go through the entire cast, but were there any standouts for you guys?
It was interesting to see how much TJ Miller is in this after all the controversy.
Yeah.
You know, he's in I think around 8 to 10 scenes.
He's really good in it too.
He is.
Because I've
He's fun.
obviously now it sucks a bit, but I really always loved TJ Miller, and I really like him in this.
I'd forgotten how
as
much
Weasel.
he was in it.
Yeah. I think he's very funny. The
Good banter with Ryan Reynolds in this.
I can
Really
imagine they
great.
would have had so much fun in
So many
that scene of
scenes.
him
Yes.
describing his face.
oh
Oh,
my god,
that would have
it's
been
so good.
just
That would have just
fantastic.
back and forth, back and forth, back and
Yeah.
forth.
I think everyone's really good in this. Even like Gina Carano, who is not a good actor at all, but they use her to the point where like she's just a physical presence mostly and works quite well.
She's dominant, which
her-
is what she does.
I love her battle with Colossus at the end as
Yeah,
well. 'Cause
yeah,
he gets
yeah.
fucked up.
Love the nip slip.
Yeah.
That's such an amazing little. I
Just little funny moments like that just subvert something you've seen
Yeah.
so many times before.
I wonder what writer thought, like, you know what we should do here? Like, we should have a nip slip. Like, it seems like such a random thing that you wouldn't expect to work, but it does.
And Colossus's character in this, he's a very like fatherly kind of presence.
Oh, he's a big softy.
Yeah, he's a big
Boy Scout,
softy.
yeah.
And he's just like, whoa,
It
you know,
really,
like, cover
really-
up. Like she's like, oh, thanks.
Yeah, a really good kind of opposite to the rest of the tone of this film. Good
I'm
to
always
see.
a bit hesitant when, UFC fighters or athletes in general, but it seems to be a trend with these kind of films. UFC fighters go into these types of films because I'm like, they're never that good. Like Ronda Rousey has been kind of slated as a very bad actor.
Oh, she's very bad.
I mean, even he's my guy. I love George St. Pierre, but some very deadpan deliveries in Civil War.
George St. Pierre.
Yeah, he was.
Is he?
The French kickboxer at the beginning of Civil War?
Really?
Winter Soldier. you mean?
Oh, sorry, Winter Soldier. My bad.
Winter Soldier.
When they go and do the
on the
assault
ship,
on the
the
tanker.
opening scene.
Oh,
yeah.
It's
is
George St.
GSP
Pierre.
in that?
That's George St. Pierre is the
Wow.
main bad guy in the beginning.
Man, I've got
Batroc the Leaper.
That's it.
a
That's right.
good excuse for me to chuck on Winter Soldier.
Yeah. Not that you
Um,
needed one.
Yeah, I've been wanting to watch that lately. I thought Ed Skrein was really good as the bad guy in this. I feel like his performance is great. I just feel like he's one of the stronger villains in superhero movies of late, actually, watching this again.
Really?
Yeah.
I
So
felt
he's-
like he was fairly just bad guy A.
Absolutely, but I feel like just through performance and personality of the character, I feel like there's a lot there, and he bounces off Deadpool really well.
He does what he needs to do. Like the bad guy and the villain aspects of this film, like it's definitely an important part of the origin story
Yeah.
of Deadpool. But like it doesn't, like that final battle that happens at the end, I'm like, it just kind of plays itself out. The villain, as you said, he kind of feels like bad guy A, but he brings enough to it to keep it interesting and to
Absolutely.
propel the origin
I
story
don't-
forward.
And I don't think that's even giving enough credit. Like from a plot point of view, he's not particularly interesting or original. But like if you just have his relationship with Deadpool, how much Deadpool hates him, calls him Francis, and he's got his little "What's my
Yeah.
name" line. Like compare that to say Thor and Malekith or something.
Yeah,
It's a much better relationship.
for
he's
sure.
an easily dislikable character.
Yeah.
And he
Yeah.
portrays that quite well.
And it's good him playing a bad guy, because when he's playing more of a good guy in Game of Thrones, he was still equally dislikable. It was like weird.
This is a bit of no, I'm going to finish up kind of going through Anycast. My kind of throwout is Brianna Hittelbrand.
That's Negasonic Teenage Warhead.
Yeah.
Great.
I just love the deadpan delivery of that. I thought it was really good.
What's it like? Ripley and Alien.
Yeah.
Sinead
so
O'Connor.
old.
I'm like, fuck, man. This just tickles me beyond
Yeah.
belief. Like, I can't express how much this particular viewing of it. I was just laughing and laughing and laughing and laughing. Like all of the jokes landed for me.
I don't know why. It's not even a joke I actually really got, but for some reason when Deadpool goes to camera and says, "Margaret, it's me," when he rips off his hand, I don't know why I find that funny, that line so funny. I don't understand it. I don't get the reference, but the way that it's delivered is so...
Hello, God, it's me, Margaret. It's a book about
that's it,
coming
yeah.
of age. It's about a girl's first period, I think.
Oh, is it really?
That's why when he squirts him in the face, it says money
Yeah.
shot. It's quite. Quite a disgusting joke.
Wow.
That makes me enjoy it that
That's
much more.
full on.
I enjoyed it when I didn't get it. Now I'm fucking. That's great.
Also, Morena Baccarin as Vanessa, I feel
Yeah,
like is fantastic. Specifically, their chemistry and their relationship.
So
is,
good.
as you said, it's the backbone of the film, and we'll address this much deeper later on. But yeah, I feel like it's so good to see a romantic relationship in a superhero film that actually is interesting or works in some way.
or that you invested in
Totally.
any way.
And not just on that level, but to see a relationship in any kind of movie that acknowledges how relevant sex and sexual chemistry is to a relationship.
Yeah.
Like, because they're sexy. Like, they fuck a lot. And it's really cool. And it's a big part of their
But
relationship.
they're not thirsty in the way that like Chris Hemsworth and
Natalie Portman.
Yeah.
But that was a very PG version of that, where
Yeah.
this is just like they like each other, they get along really well, but they also fuck like crazy. And it's
Yeah.
like, that's a really mature
heartwarming.
look at a relationship, because that's what a relationship is.
Yeah.
But you don't see that in a lot of movies, you know?
No, you don't.
Sex scenes especially,
And-
since the 90s, have completely died
And
off.
you know what? Ballsy move, that opening piece of dialogue between them where they just keep one-upping each other on how
That
fucked
is
up.
like
Yeah.
Like basements and bodies and, you know,
That-
like
that's
that
something
goes
that-
dark, but the way they sell it and the tone of the movie, it gets over the line, and you appreciate it, and it does a lot of groundwork for the characters.
You know, there's definitely some people being like, "That's like, how could you joke
Yeah,
about that?"
yeah.
Fuck off.
Yeah.
Or to each their own.
Or that, yeah, or fuck off.
Or don't be a prick about it.
Yeah.
It's fine. Anyway.
Or, I was really interested in this. All right, so I want to bring up something that kind of irked me about this film, that I've never really understood, and that's Ajax's powers. So he quite clearly defines his powers as increased reaction time, and that he also doesn't feel pain. But he seems to also have enhanced strength and the ability to, like, not necessarily heal, but it
You
seems
can
that
sustain a lot of damage.
no pain equals you can still function if you've been stabbed in the leg. It's like, just because you can't feel it doesn't mean that,
Yeah.
tendons haven't been snapped. And
Pain is there so your body knows that there's something wrong and you've got to attend to it. You know, it's,
Yeah, it
it's
doesn't-
not like there's
if you don't feel pain, you're not
Exactly.
injured.
I think it's fair to qualify him as super soldier status, though, having been through the program.
Well,
himself,
yeah,
presumably.
but I mean, like, it just, again, it seemed as though he had powers beyond the scope of what he had said he had.
Because
And I'm okay.
for me, I could say I could work around if he's got rapid fire reactions that his strength comes through the speed of movement. So there's more force. I can make that work around there.
Okay, yeah.
This
but-
is very nitpicky.
It is, but it is something that has bothered me every time I've watched
But
it.
the damage aspect that doesn't work for me.
He's super.
But it didn't bother me in the film.
He's
It
just a
didn't
super
bother me.
guy. Like, I don't think it's an issue. Like,
If you
he
look at it
doesn't-
like that,
he
yeah, it's
doesn't
fine.
specifically go through everything that he's good at. And also,
He sits there and he's like, "All right,
so
I
he's
can do this.
exact, look at this.
Sustain
I have a
maximum
seventh
damage.
sense.
Yeah.
I can be stabbed through the
I don't know.
heart."
I don't know why it bothered me. It was just like, it was the fact that he specifically mentioned that he couldn't heal, but that damage.
Couldn't
that,
feel.
No. When he is getting, like, he makes a
getting
comment.
stitched up, isn't
Yeah,
he?
he's like, I only wish that I could heal like him.
Yeah.
That kind of
Deadpool has one of the greatest healing factors in the Marvel universe. Like, maybe he just means I wish I could heal as well as that guy.
as well as him.
'Cause he can
I mean,
grow back
that's
hands and shit.
potentially
Okay.
as well. It's hard to say. I mean, the implication is that he heals normally.
That's what I thought as well.
But yeah, like, I mean,
But
if
as
I
I-
just kind of
that-
take liberty with it, it's
Yeah.
fine. I don't know why it's always bothered me, but it has, and I felt like I needed to bring it up, Ben.
Fair enough. I'm trying to offer solutions here. you know?
Yeah. Deadpool, on the other hand, seems to be pretty spot on about. I don't know how he learned how to use swords in the military, but let's go beyond
We
that.
see that in Origins, X-Men Wolverine Origins.
Oh, my bad.
He's using
Yeah.
swords in that. I think, yeah, they nail his origin from a comics perspective. Like, they don't mention Weapon X or kind of, where Wolverine came from and stuff. It was a similar program, but
I think they wanted to distance itself from Origins because Weapon X was talked about a lot in Wolverine Origins.
I think they more wanted to distance themselves from X-Men,
Yeah, probably.
the main franchise. But no, they, like, in terms of him having cancer and his kind of mutant powers being unlocked and fighting the cancer and making him just one ugly motherfucker, like, they spot on.
it's
Yeah.
very interesting. They did seem to downplay, at least in this one, the psychosis. 'Cause that's a major aspect of that character within the comics, is that he's genuinely crazy. Not just like a smart ass, but he's like, he hears voices and all that kind
I
of
would
stuff.
say downplayed definitely, but at the same time, like he's a fucking psychopath. Like they
Yeah, he
they
fucks
acknowledge
people
that,
up.
and they
The
go
swords.
yeah,
He's holding the guy up.
like they go.
Love that.
They have a lot of confidence in making this horrible character and going full tilt with it. Like he's, horribly deformed, and they do that, which is really amazing to see in like a movie with like a leading,
Very
like, just
handsome
one leading
man.
man. Yeah, like they go full into that, and he's violent and sadistic, and
Yeah.
But he's three-dimensional though.
Totally.
And he's an anti-hero. He's got good qualities. He's got terrible qualities. He loves people.
yeah,
He
but
hates
every
people.
every main character has good qualities. That's a given. But the fact that they just go full tilt,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
a horrible monster with it
They
as well.
made him.
It touches on that, and it also happens to be one of my favorite gags of the entire movie is him looking at one of the what does he call them, the spider monkey ninjas or something, the women that he's trying to debate as to whether to kill them and whether that's sexist not to kill them or
Oh,
I
yeah,
love
yeah.
that gag. I think it's absolutely fantastic. I just love him trying to you can tell him wresting with some kind of moral code,
And then he
he's trying
cocks
to
the gun
figure
at the
out.
end anyway.
Yeah,
so he cuts away.
leaves
It's
it up
brilliant.
to
Yeah,
the
yeah.
audience, and you're like, oh.
But yeah, just the fact that they tease a cure for his condition throughout the movie, which could potentially be like what are they doing? But they don't. There is no cure. He's just fucked up, ugly Deadpool at the end still. Really cool to see commitment like that.
Yeah.
So, in terms of some other good things about this film, what else really stood out to you
I think
in
the
this
action is
particular
fantastic.
screening? Yeah?
I think compared to like most other superhero films, the action is really gorgeous in this. Like, I don't think the MCU is particularly strong generally, outside of the Russo brothers. In terms of action, the X-Men movies are, okay to good. Like you get like X-Men Apocalypse at the end where they're all just like standing around shooting laser beams at each other. It is horrible.
Don't remind me.
But this movie's actually got some really cool fight choreography, some excellent kind of montages and scenes and stuff.
For
I
a
would
film that is built had a budget of $58 million, like that is a low budget film. Just quickly, sorry, I know we're talking about that, but 783 million box office total.
It's impressive.
Crazy.
Very, very impressive.
I would like to see, at least with the new one, a little bit more attention given to some of the CGI acrobatics. It's another little aspect of this film that kind of caught my eye when I was watching it, being like, that doesn't look right. There's a specific scene actually that I remember where he
His head's
catches
popping out of the Land Rover.
him catching an
You get like a
axe.
50% hit rate when
Yeah.
guessing what Connor's saying.
Yeah.
Ajax throws an axe at him and he catches it and then he throws it back. And just like the way that the
I think
CG
that
looks on
fight's
that.
awesome. Is that when
no,
they're in
the
the burning building?
No.
No.
This is at the very end. He's got
Right,
those double
right.
axes and he gives
Right, yeah,
chucks
yeah,
it.
yeah.
And he does like this weird spinning jump thing as he throws it back. I'm just like, that doesn't. The range looks off. The aspect, like something about it just doesn't look right.
I feel like that film, for that kind of budget, I was expecting it to not hold up as well.
I thought it looks
I think
amazing.
it looks so
at the
fucking
end of
good.
it,
Like, you think about
Colossus looks really good as well.
He looks fantastic.
Yeah, I think throughout it looks really slick.
There's some composite jobs on that main highway bit that
Yeah.
I'm like, okay,
Totally.
but I can look past that.
Yeah, and again, given the budget, you're like, wow, I think they've done a really good job
Yeah.
putting all of this together. And just the film in general, I think, looks really slick as well. I love how widescreen it is. It's like full-on CinemaScope, which we don't always get on these blockbusters.
Yeah. Another thing that I wanted to talk about with this that I loved is the montage aspect, and particularly the relationship forming, going through the seasons between Vanessa
The
and
giant
Wade
sex
Wilson.
scene.
Yeah.
The Lent joke was fantastic.
So fucking good.
Mm.
And, when you're watching that scene, you're not expecting it to happen. You're expecting like a scene to kind of start and it propels into this montage. I fucking love it from multiple aspects. Number one, it's hilarious with those kind of jokes. Number two, it's really economic storytelling. Like you get a long passage of time pass and you still get a lot of details about the characters and the connection they're forming. I think it's a very elegantly done part of this film.
And it speaks to what you talked about, Ben, where this has like a bit of an emotional pull to it. Whereas when they introduce the cancer essentially to the storyline, it actually has an impact beyond the fact that cancer is just scary to begin with.
Yeah.
But it's affecting this relationship in a far more real way than I think that cancer is often portrayed in films.
And I often say this about comedies, I think it's very true, is if you can make someone care about a character through comedy, you're going to care about them more than if they're just some drama.
Yeah.
So when drama actually hits, it hits a lot harder because it's like a tonal shift almost. And yeah, on that kind of note about this movie getting serious, I feel like everything from him getting taken into like the training program, like from when they put him in the oxygen tank thing to basically when he's reborn as Deadpool, there's like a 10-minute stretch there that is like pure drama. There's like one or two little jokes, but it's really intense.
Yeah.
And I think it works so amazingly well. That was a real shock for me on this repeat viewing.
Yeah, 100%.
What really got me, and it kind of goes back to what I was saying, is the there's a very specific scene where they're being told about his cancer, and he's looking at her, and he says the line, or something around the line, "I'm just trying to memorize the look of her face." She's trying to go through plan A to Z or something like that.
Like the first time I've seen
yeah.
it, or
And
the last.
I thought, again, it comes down to economic storytelling. It comes down to just good drama, like good kind of emotional catharsis in those moments, where you're just watching that has nothing to do with comedy. It has nothing to do with anything. It's really just building, stakes for this film and building that relationship. So I thought that was really well done.
And some of the
I
best
completely
dramatic
agree.
acting from Reynolds as well. Who's
Yeah.
doesn't
I
really do that.
completely forgot about that with this. I was actually kind of blown away.
Totally. That's the stuff that held up better than any of the jokes in this film for me, because that half the jokes I was just like, I had memorized, and I'm like, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Half of them I'd forgotten, which surprised me. They were great. But then just the drama throughout, I'm like, this is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And I love the motivations. I loved I love when he goes back to to go meet her and to save her, that you feel as though this is something that, he'll face bullets and knives and all that all day long, but this is something that really matters to him. I think just another really good aspect of the plot.
Yeah, like it's a small contained story, and it's like very ever present, I guess. One thing that I fucking loved about this viewing and this film in general is the runtime, the pacing, the editing. There's not a bit of fat on this, I feel. I feel like fucking get in, get off, get out, Deadpool. Like it's so balls to the wall. It does what it needs to do. And that ending, like he saves the day, camera flies out, we hit the credits.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
You get to that final scene quite quickly. Like I noticed that the second time I watched it, because I was, you see that, that helicarrier scene as the kind of the climax of the film, but you get there real quick, and you're like, oh shit! Like I don't know what I was thinking was in between that, but like I just assumed that there was more movie before we got to the climax. And you kind of get swept along in it.
Yeah.
I
You're
think
there
that-
with Colossus, and
I think the nonlinear aspect of the beginning really throws some people in terms of how long they've been watching. Like, because you not only, by the time you get to the end, you've watched the first action sequence, but you've also watched the entire origin. So you're more than halfway through the film, where it feels like you're only, a quarter
It's
the
like
way
acts
through.
1 and 2 are completely mushed up together
Yeah, exactly.
into one pulpy mess, and then you've got the third act right there at the end.
yeah. What did you felt like that snappiness was
Yeah.
like
A
good thing?
100%, yeah. It's really refreshing to see a superhero movie that's not very long.
Yeah. What about some negatives? What were you?
I think I've gone through my negatives. Like a lot of them are just nitpicks. It's the sort of ill-defined powers of Ajax. I always get a bit iffy around how he saves Vanessa by like chucking her in that thing and then like tossing her off the like. I was like, that's not how that works.
He said she's not going to like it.
Yeah. I'd have loved it if he came down and just found her mangled body. It's like, oh god, that that didn't work at all. Yeah. Apart from that, I think it's a really solid film. Like I can't really think of anything to.
Any negatives for you, Ben A?
I don't think I have any. This is my fourth viewing. It's probably my most positive one so far, I think.
It almost gets better the more you watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
George?
Yeah, I really can't. I think really it's just does exactly what it needs to do. And
If there were any negatives, I was completely blinded to them on this viewing, because it's been a while since I've seen it, and I've kind of forgotten.
blind to
like,
what?
Sorry?
Blind to what? What did you
the
do?
negatives. If there
Oh,
were any
negatives,
negatives,
yeah.
I was blinded to them because I can't. I was kind of blown away on this viewing. I'd forgotten how good this movie is. I think we've seen so much since this film came out, and I think this is such a solid little
Yeah.
film.
Do you think that, I mean, because we're doing this in anticipation for Deadpool 2,
Yeah, let's talk about that for a bit.
do you think that it will live up to the same kind of hype? Are you concerned, excited?
I think I think they've made a really strong, positive decision in making this an ensemble film. I think differentiating as much as you can from this is one definite way to succeed. Because if you try and retread this, it's not going to work. Like, you got to do something different with Deadpool. This is a very small, contained, origin story-esque kind of film. You've got to go to that next level. And I think bringing in Cable and all the other characters, I think it's a really smart move.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't even want to think about the second one too much just yet. I hope it's good. I hope it delivers.
It looks, if anything, it looks like it's improved on the looks.
Totally.
Like,
It looks
so
gorgeous.
slick.
I hope there's more than that because the trailers have been a bit hit and miss for me so far. So
Yeah.
fingers crossed.
Yeah. I'm just, interestingly, sometimes I go through reviews just to figure out what people didn't like about it. Like if there's a film that I really enjoy and I can't find that many negatives, I'm always interested to see what kind of terrible people don't like it.
Yeah.
And it seems that most of the people just didn't like the humor, like I guess the crass humor,
That's fair.
Right.
which is fair. I mean, not everyone's going to
That's
either
like
in or
that
you're out.
style.
Very
Yeah.
subjective aspect.
Yeah.
There was someone that said, I like Reynolds as an actor, and even I was bored. And I was like, that's a weird review.
So one concern I have with Deadpool 2, and I guess there's sort of two questions here, is how much can we attribute Deadpool 1's success to director Tim Miller, who is not on board for Deadpool 2?
I think that that movie was very much half and half. If
Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan
Reynolds,
I guess
Tim Miller.
in a lot of ways, I think it was the writers. It was the. I mean, again, like a film is more than just the director. But
Of course.
if you're going to talk about major influencers, I think most of it has to be attributed to Reynolds because this is his pet project. It's the character is really what drives it.
But Miller was hired in 2011. He was on it for a long time.
Yeah.
And I think a movie that works this well, it almost becomes easy to not give too much credit to the director. Because I certainly didn't for a long time. I was like, who the fuck is Tim Miller? He's going off to work on Terminator 7 or something.
Terminator 6.
Yeah. But I don't know. A movie as finely tuned as this, I think, can't have come together without someone really solid at the helm. And I think they've got another potentially strong director on the second one. But yeah, I don't know. Hopefully it works out.
My concern is that guy who's on board for Deadpool 2, the Atomic Blonde,
David Leitch.
John Wick director, he's an action director.
Mm.
So the action's going to look great. Like, it's going to look slick. It's going to look pristine. We're going to get some great choreography. But will he have a good grasp on the humor? Will he be able to do what they do in this, which is the vital part of it?
Totally. Because we know, Reynolds is going to be able to deliver on that in terms of even just ad-libbing on set or something. But the movie is put together in a way that is lends so much to the humor as well.
The structure.
Yeah, the structure and just the meta jokes. And
I think if you get the vibe and the general kind of tone of Deadpool down, the rest just kind of falls into place, is my thought. And I think that most of that is brought by Reynolds, and I think most of it is brought by, you can look back at that first one and try and expand on that feeling and that tone. So I think that's going to be fine.
Do you think they like Ryan Reynolds and whoever his little sort of core group is thinking, we know how to do the jokes for this. We just need somebody to come in, kind of bring it all together, have some good action, kind of scale it up in that. But we know how to present this character. We know what is and isn't going to work.
Hopefully. I mean, as I keep saying, Deadpool, I think, has the potential to be so very insufferable. They have a long way to fall if they don't nail it.
Yeah.
And without that emotional core, we'll see what happens with Cable. Cable and Deadpool in the comics are a duo. They have crossover comics and stuff. Like what we'll see what
I
happens
think this
with
could
those.
come off
But
as a more lighthearted version of. I know, like we were talking about the kind of emotional core being what was great about the first one, but I don't think they can rely on that. And I think this one will come up more as like lighthearted.
yeah, I think you might be right there. Well, anything else, guys?
No,
Feeling pretty good. Time to head off to watch Infinity War with
Again.
our mates, the Russo brothers.
you're making it sound as if we're going to like a special screening
yeah.
just with them.
There we are.
We are. We're going to their house.
We're going to
Yeah.
a special screening just with them.
Yeah.
So, guys, we'll have our Deadpool 2 review up next week. So don't forget to subscribe. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on YouTube. Friends, family, we'll see you next week for the weekly show. And
Farewell,
Deadpool 2. Papa. See you, Benny.
There you are.
See you, Connor.